Harmony, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. I want to zoom in on the concept of going no contact and how to hang in there when the going gets tough. I know it is difficult. I know it's a difficult call of judgment oftentimes on whether to determine that a narcissist or psychopathic individual is no longer necessary, no longer beneficial, no longer worthwhile to have in your life. I know it's a very difficult and heart-wrenching decision, and that oftentimes people have a lot of mostly time and emotion and sometimes finances invested with these people. And it's because of the investment that oftentimes of time, of emotion, and really I would say the over-idealizing of these individuals that keeps people stuck. It keeps people blocked. It keeps people guessing, staying on the fence, wondering what they should do, debating back and forth, caught in the confusion, caught in the game playing that they play really with themselves and ultimately with the narcissist or psychopathic individual. They barter, they bargain. If I was just a little bit nicer, or if I gave them more time, or if I were rougher, or if I gave them less time. The back and forth, the bargaining that people do, the bargaining chips between whether to stay with this person or not, becomes a real detriment, because what ends up happening is you are living in a sort of perpetual mechanism to keep you away from really pursuing the direction that you need to do, and that is really moving on. That is going life narc free. That is going life psychopathic free. And it's very difficult than just letting go of a fling, an affair, a fiance, or even if it's a spouse. It's different than just, I would say, departing from a regular individual. There's something really about this person where the chemistry has really changed you as a person. Perhaps you've sunk at very deep lows. Perhaps you have gone to, tremendous highs with this person. But mostly, if you look at the back and forth, you realize that there is something that is not real. There is something that is deceptive. There is something that is pathological about this individual, and that is their ability to lie and keep a facade. So as you go through life, you'll find that really there's a tendency to become more and more attuned, more and more aligned with your heart space. Your heart is your authentic self. Your heart is your values. Your heart contains the seed of your passions, the things that you care about, the things that you care deeply about. And it is in a life with a psychopathic or narcissistic individual where oftentimes this is not going to be able to be fully engaged. Yes, the heart is engaged when you are charmed, when you are love-bombed by this individual. However, the heart is very much disengaged and very much exploited when you really go through the devaluing and the discarding phase. And it's very important that you don't discount yourself and tuning into your emotions at this time. It is difficult to say no. It is difficult to go no contact. It is difficult not to care. It is difficult to say fare thee well to these individuals, because especially if you had a vision for them being there for your entire life, or you had cultivated a vision with them being there for your entire life. So you have to realize it's very important to reset your vision, very much realign your values. The narcissist and psychopathic individual would love to keep you deluded and keeping you their supply in whatever mechanisms that they do. It could be for holidays, it could be for birthdays, it could be for texting, it could be for photographs. You're going to find that there's a lot of different levels on which the narcissist or psychopathic individual does try to keep you strung along, and then keeping you attached, keeping you stuck really in that whole cycle of the up and down and the addiction that becomes more pronounced and rigid with time. So I understand, how difficult it is to say no, but and how to go no contact, and it does seem very extreme. You do have to do something extreme. That is the whole point of going no contact. Is you have to get them out of your vision, get them out of your ears, get them out of your heart, get them out of your home, get them out of your business. As extreme as this is how real it is. So when, when things are called for a desperate measure, I think you will not really understand how important it is until you see really with your own two eyes their destructive effect. And you will be the judge of how long you're going to endure the abuse, the imbalance, the chemical brainwashing and gaslighting that you can tolerate until eventually your life is thrown upside down, you encounter a health issue, something just erupts in your life, and then you really will have no doubt. And once you hit that place, it's important to remember that place, because as you start to move through your path and getting a vision for yourself, the narcissistic or psychopathic individual or hitherto similar types will seek to be in your life. But as you really work and getting aligned on your values, you'll realize that you will not be attracted to these types whatsoever. You'll realize that they're toxic, that they're not worthwhile. You're not missing anything with these types of people. In fact, the whole world opens up to you as soon as you can start to unplug from these naysayers, from these people who do not fare thee well, from the people who would hitherto have you suffer. To have you suffer, to have you live in darkness, to have you live in hate, to have you live in anxiety, to have you live in isolation, to have you live in shame. They just want to keep you down in those lower rungs of existence, and life is not good there. That is not the life of the promised land. The promised land is enjoying really the finer aspirations, feeling a sense of fulfillment, and not just momentary pleasure, but something that is longer lasting than just a fling in the sheets, than just a dinner where you're being oogled under the table. These flashes of pleasure, really you'll find that in the test of time, that there's something more important to be as the foundation of you that can move you in and out through various situations without being strung out on that sort of chemical high and control and manipulation that a psychopathic or narcissistic individual will have you encapsulated in essentially a cocoon where you're really not getting out and taking your life to the next level. Yes, it can feel like the pain is where I'm used to living. I'm used to living in this back and forth. I'm used to living in the breaking up and making up. But, essentially that is not going to maintain at that level. The relationship is going to have to go one way or another. It's going to have to go backwards or it's going to have to go forwards. It's not going to remain stagnant. It's not going to stay where it is, especially with a narcissistic or psychopathic individual. They are the ones who are going to make things happen, and they would sooner discard you, put you on the shelf, and seek to find other sources of supply that can give them that thrill, that risk taking. So if you are really having a difficult time saying no contact, realizing you're not missing anything, it is the unrealistic expectations with which the narcissistic and psychopathic individual held you to that you will always be falling short. You'll always be kind of, feeling like you don't quite have what they're looking for. It's that constant desire of more, and feeling really dissatisfied and living in a perpetual dissatisfaction that does start to eat away at the psyche and the soul and the spirit, and creates a very large void in your life. That eventually you carry that around, and you then start to alienate all those things that really do matter to you. And that is part of the destruction, is that alienation, is that isolation from you and what you really enjoy. So cease being judged by these individuals. Stop the judgment coming from their measuring stick, because they're not the true measure of you. It is really when you tune into realizing that and letting go of that judgment that you can begin to be and live in your own skin again. You can relax into your body. You can come into your senses. You can come back into your heart space. You can experience the emotions of safety, of feeling joy, of feeling happiness, of feeling content. as if those emotions were discarded and devalued by a narcissist. They forever want you to be admiring them and not fulfilling yourself. So you can see that the longer period of time you've been with these individuals, the deeper the hurt, the deeper the wound is going to be. So it is going to take some time of continually going no contact, working on your vision for yourself, keying into your recovery journal, working on your vision and your vision board, which we're going to be getting into. You're going to need to call into that on a daily and consistent basis. And when you feel yourself going down, pick yourself up right away and say, I am safe. I am so grateful for being free. I am so grateful. I am so grateful. I am at peace. I have peace. Peace is mine. I experience the joy and power of my peace on a regular and consistent basis. So when you start to feel that shame, when you start to feel like you're strong enough to go back, realize that they are going to come at you with a machete, basically, and they're going to try to dissolve and really destroy a lot of the work that you have been doing. So remember, it's just like an alcoholic. When an alcoholic who has an insatiable need to drink or drug, they are powerless over the substance. Realize, too, that the psychopathic abuser and oftentimes the narcissistic abuser, although to a lesser degree, they are powerless over their ability to hurt. So when you are with somebody who is powerless over their ability to hurt, in other words, they have such a unquenchable need to hurt others and to defile others and to shame others and control others, they just can't stop. They just can't. They just cannot. Just like an alcoholic, once they take that first drink, they can't stop. There's something physiologically, there's an addiction that is set in with their physiology, where they just, keep craving more and more and more, to the point where they're drinking a gallon of vodka, and that is not enough. I mean, they can be sick and throwing up, and they're still looking for more. It's a very horrific situation, and oftentimes people go to rock bottom when they see themselves there. Well, the narcissist and the psychopathic individual, they are powerless over their ability to, stop hurting people, to stop controlling others. It gets, almost laughable, the degree to which they will control others. If you've ever seen a very controlling person, especially as they get older, they're there, pick up this, do that. They're just calling the shots. They're controlling that person relentlessly. From how they pick up the phone to what they ask on the phone to, every little minute minutia that they're controlling in that other person. And it's very sad. And so, we have to, what you call, let these people go. So letting go, I know it's not rational. I know it's very difficult. I know oftentimes it doesn't make sense and it feels wrong, but it's a must-do sort of thing. It is what is required for you to move forward and heal. And if you doubt yourself, if you guess yourself, I understand, because it's counterintuitive to your identity. It's counterintuitive to what you feel you should do, because you're a good person, you want to love, you feel like you have, the emotional wherewithal, and you have essentially done your part. The issue is with the other person. They're not able to do their part. It's like a plug. You can plug up two prongs into the wall, and then, you have light. On the other side of what you're plugging into with them is not light, it is darkness. It is not, it's an illusion of light, but eventually that light will give way to the darkness once again. And that's a metaphor essentially for the negativity and the toxicity which is what they are about. So once again, it's really letting them go in understanding that you can't change them, that they get worse with time, and knowing that it's just meant to boomerang back on you. If you are extending yourself, your empathy, your listening ear to them, it's going to be met with toxic reprimand, control, manipulation, and even worse, insults, which are meant to cut even more severe and even deeper to you. So, it's just a word to the wise that if you're doubting yourself, of course, it's counterintuitive to you, but realize that your success and your healing is also counterintuitive to your struggle. So that's oftentimes why success does not feel right to you, why healing does not feel right, oftentimes why it's difficult to accept healing, because it contradicts the struggle and the mindset of struggle that you have cultivated for quite a degree of your life. So you need to get used to a new feeling of feeling self-esteem, which is valuing yourself, which is accepting yourself, which is feeling safe, not feeling constantly targeted, things of that nature, and not constantly people-pleasing and not acquiescing to people's demands to be their supply, to feed into their abuse, and furthermore be victimized. So think about that and realize that if you are on the path to healing and you're like jumping up and down, I can do it now, I can say no. Good for you. You are on the right path. Be strong, be firm, and be happy, because your happiness is what's going to carry you through on your journey. It's a very subtle experience. It's not about momentary pleasure. It's about an ongoing and future moving and growing experience within yourself, which is true happiness, which cannot be destroyed. Once you cultivate that and create that, no person can take that away from you. And remember, at the end of the day, you only have to answer to yourself and your higher power. Your narcissist is not going to be there judging you whether you are able to get through the gates to your personal heaven. It's that your narcissist is not keeping the keys to the heaven. There's a greater supreme being who's got your big rainbow in the sky. And it's not going to be a rainbow at night. It's going to be a rainbow of brilliant light. And you will know that. You will know that in your heart, and you will know that in your core being, which is once you tune into that and align with it, it will become stronger and stronger, and you'll know your truth. Peace and harmony with you here today. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.